Color Mix Especialidades. Equipe comprometida com o seu sucesso.
Olá, bom dia a todos. Eu sou a Eliane Dornelas, responsável pelo P&D e a área técnica do Departamento de Ciências da Vida da Color Mix Especialidades. Quero cumprimentar a todos e dar as boas-vindas a todos, e agradecer a presença de vocês nesta webinar. Essa será a última webinar com a Cosfatec, esse parceiro da Color Mix muito especial. Deixando o recado, que para quem não puder assistir nessa webinar na íntegra, ela está sendo gravada e também disponibilizada no nosso canal do YouTube. Então, se perderem alguma coisa, estarão podendo ser resgatado lá, ok? O assunto de hoje, que nós vamos tratar, é um assunto bem interessante, que atende aí as nossas demandas, aí, necessidades do mercado, falando sobre estabilidade natural para cosméticos modernos, e a gente vai contar com a ajuda e a participação do Frederic Fabisch e do Dr. Carsten Dietz, da Cosfatec, lá da Alemanha. Sejam bem-vindos, e vamos dar início à nossa webinar.
Thank you very much, Eliane. Thank you very much for the whole Color Mix team. My name is Frederic Fabisch. I'm the sales manager at Cosfatec for the Americas regions. I'm supported here by my colleague, Dr. Carsten Dietz, who is the responsible sales director for Asia Pacific and one of the longest employees at Cosfatec, and also responsible for many of the great products we actually have. We are going to jump directly into the presentation. I hope you can all see that. So I will shortly introduce the company, what we are doing. We are responsible, or our core products, we offer alternative preservation, that's our core products, for the cosmetics industry. However, we also have very high quality antioxidants, xanthan gums, as well as active and some emollients. All of our products are biodegradable, sustainable, and coming from natural sources and tested according to highest German quality standards. The core products we have also very positive effects on the skin, such as our multifunctionals we are also going to talk about today. All the core products are approved by Cosmos. Also, the products we are going to talk about today are going to be approved by Cosmos. All of the products we are offering, natural or synthetic, either one are vegan and non-GMO, and our palm oil is always strictly sourced by RSPO standards. Some of the products are also food approved, and kosher and halal. We have two offices. Our main headquarters in Hamburg in Germany, and one of our offices is in Shanghai in China. And then we have two production sites, one close to Hamburg and one also in the Netherlands. We are working all over the world with 35 different distributors. In Brazil, we are working with Color Mix, and that's already now for more than 2 years since we started in the Brazilian market, and that very successfully. So our vision is that one day every single synthetic or harmful material in cosmetics will be replaced by natural alternatives. This step, the first steps we offer up to the complete natural and organic way to preserve your product. So here you can see that we offer an all-around solution. We have different products, Cosmos approved, non-Cosmos approved, for different pH ranges, or also pH independently. Today we are going to talk about propandiol, pentyol natural, the multimag you can see in the middle for a pH range of 3.5 to 7, as well as zinc lactate and decapo natural, and one blend, which is a mix of an alternative preservative, and a traditional preservative, in that case, potassium sorbate. So what is a preservative? You have to ask yourself, and what are trends and strategies for preservation? So from a microbiologist point of view, each substance that is able to avoid a growth of bacteria, yeast, and molds is considered to be a preservative or an antimicrobial. In Europe, it's a little bit different. There we have, and that's why we use, we are always saying listed preservatives. We are working according to EU cosmetic regulations, and there you have 57 different listed preservatives with only one function: to preserve. And you are not allowed to claim your products preservative-free or paraben-free, because that would belittle eventually the product. For example, a paraben which is not harmful, you would still make the customer actually have the feeling that parabens would be harmful, and that it would be something great to have a paraben-free product. You can claim, on the other hand, that the product is completely organic. In the USA, you can claim almost everything. In that case, preservative-free and paraben-free are still allowed claims you can use, but they are declining because they also produce very often for other markets around the world. In China, it's a little bit different. You're not allowed to claim preservative-free, but in some parts of the world, you're allowed to claim, in some parts of China, I'm very sorry, you're allowed to claim paraben-free. It depends from region to region. Also here in the USA, every antimicrobial substance is considered to be a preservative. And in China, a substance which is added to inhibit the growth of microorganisms is considered to be a preservative. In Brazil, it's the same claim in that case. Also in Brazil, you're allowed to claim your product preservative or paraben-free, and also organic product if everything is organic in your final formulation. So smart and modern preservation is more than only eliminating bacteria, yeast, and molds. It is also something you have to make attractive for your final consumer by attractive ingredients. Here we have some examples of paraben-free claims from the USA. And we also see a much higher influence of internet and apps, such as the Good Face Project, for example, or EWG, where the final consumer can actually code their product, and then they see immediately if the product, the single substance inside of the final formulation, is actually marked red, green, or yellow. So a typical so-called preservative is very inexpensive. However, you might have restricted dosages, such as in Europe. You have sometimes negative side effects, such as skin irritation. You have bad ratings in the apps, but you have also a very good preservation system with the function to preserve. We offer alternatives. They have additional positive effects. What kind of effects? Carsten is going to talk about that very soon. They are very innovative, high quality. You have no restrictions. Also here, again, in Europe, no restrictions when it comes to the dosage you can use. However, they are very often also higher costed. Now we would come to our first product. I would pass the ball in that case to Carsten.
Thank you, Frederick, and thank you for your introduction. And hello to everyone in the audience. Yeah, so let me directly go on and talk about one of our products, the Conservantes propanediol natural. So the product itself is derived by fermentation, so it's a fermentation process. And in contrast to a product that is relatively famous on the market, the Semea product from DuPont, our propanediol is completely GMO-free and naturally produced. So in this way, it's really Cosmos approved and non-GMO. It has an unlimited water solubility. and it has very nice moisturizing effects and conditioning effects. It is not irritating. We tested in several tests up to 50% and working, of course, pH independently. But what you need to keep in mind is that propanediol is a short chain diol, so the antimicrobial efficiency is not the strongest. So finally, you need to keep in mind that it is more a booster than a real strong preservative or alternative preservative. It can function, and this is a part of its booster function, very, very good as a solvent for other substances, for example, water insoluble extracts, and in this way boost the efficiency a lot, because then the water phase gets more attractive for the extract, the not water soluble extract. The next one is pentyl natural. Pentyl natural has 5 C atoms, so it's a longer chain diol, and it also shows an unlimited water solubility and definitely a stronger antimicrobial efficiency. It has also good moisturizing and conditioning effects, is working pH independently. And you can use the pentyl natural as a single antimicrobial, but in general, I always recommend to combine at least 2 substances, because if you are attacking bacteria, yeasts, and molds in 2 different ways, you will always have a stronger efficiency and finally a better price-performance ratio. So this is what I recommend. It has, of course, a strong boosting function, because the big advantage of pentyl natural is that it is also soluble in water and in many oils, and it is also an excellent solvent for antimicrobials that are oil soluble. Furthermore, it can stabilize emulsions by reducing the particle size. So here you can see a complete overview of all diols we have in our portfolio, and also what I mentioned before. So what you can see is the longer the alkyl chain of the diol is, the lower is the water solubility. So octiol is less water soluble than hexiol, hexiol less water soluble than pentyl, and the best water solubility has propanediol. But regarding the antimicrobial effect, it is the opposite. So this means the longer the alkyl chain is, the stronger is the antimicrobial efficiency, which means here in this figure that octiol is the strongest one and propanediol has the lowest antimicrobial efficiency. All of these diols are efficient against bacteria, yeasts, and molds, and all of them are working pH independently. So let's take a look to some challenge test results. So the first one is a hand cream, which contains a mixture of 4% propanediol and 4% pentyl natural. You can see that the challenge test was done after European pharmacopoeia testing, so the inoculation is relatively high, and we have test results after day 2, 7, 14, and 28. So what you can see is a very fast reduction of the bacteria, and on day 2, all of them are really very, very good reduced. If you take a look to the yeasts and molds, the first day that is really important is the day 14. But even at day 7, we had a strong reduction of candida, so of yeasts. And also on day 14, molds were reduced enough to have an A rating in the end. Please keep in mind that it is not our goal to have or to kill everyone on day 2. We are not working here with disinfectant materials, and the inoculation concentration is really very high, always in a challenge test. So the perfect challenge test result is to have an A rating and to have a reduction of bacteria in the first days and of the yeast and molds up to day 14. If you are able to fulfill these requirements and you get an A rating, you have nearly the best price performance ratio, because it will not help you to kill everyone within the first day. Let's take a look to the second option here, or second formulation. The second one here is, again, a mixture of two diols, propanediol natural and pentyl natural. Both of them are in 4%. But this time we have additionally the Magnolia Extract 98 inside. The Magnolia Extract is a strong hydrophobic extract, and is very strong against yeasts and molds. And this is also what you can see here in the formulation. It's hard to one-to-one compare it to the first formulation, because each challenge test is always a little bit different and only similar, not identical. But you can see a faster reduction of the molds. And in this case here, the pentyl natural makes the water phase much more attractive for the Magnolia Extract, and you are able to have the benefit of the very good anti-yeast and anti-molds efficiency of the Magnolia Extract. I can also tell you one further ingredient to boost the efficiency would be GMCY. GMCY is an organic ester, and it is one substance that is also pushing the Magnolia Extract much closer to the water phase, which is in emulsions quite working effective. The next challenge test here is a jelly face moisturizer. And here we have a mixture of hexiol and pentyl inside. And as a little booster, the EGZG Econut, which is a green tea extract with a very high content of actives inside. So the active is the EGZG, which stands for epigallocatechin 3-galate. And this water-soluble extract shows also a good efficiency against the yeasts and molds. So hexiol has round about the double efficiency of pentyl natural. So in this case here, a combination of 3% hexiol and 1.5% pentyl natural is definitely enough to have in the end a very good challenge test result. And the last sample here in the challenge test is a cleansing formulation, which consists of 2% pentyl natural and 0.2% Magnolia extract. Yes, in this case, we have a much lower concentration of the pentyl natural, but each formulation is unique and different. And in this case, it was the perfect concentration to have a very good A rating in the end. Here we have two success stories. Of course, there are a lot of success stories existing, but sometimes it's also a little bit difficult for us to really identify what our customers are doing with our products, because sometimes they have 20 or 30 different products. So we are not really sure if they are using the propanediol or pentyl for this product or this product. But here are two examples, one from the USA and one from Germany. The first one from the USA is a moisturizer, which are using a high concentration of propanediol natural, which is really very, very good working. And it's also acting as a good antimicrobial booster. The second one, the German company Asam, is producing many products, mainly skincare products. Here we have a day cream, and they are using for the preservation pentyl natural, and it acts as a moisturizer. It is increasing the emulsion stability by reducing the particle size. So also the emulsion feels a little bit lighter and nicer on the skin. And of course, because of its antimicrobial efficiency. I would also like to introduce you to one of our Conservantes products. Conservantes means always that we are using one typically in Europe listed preservative, which has a relatively good rating and has low or much less side effects compared to other one. And we are combining and boosting these preservative with one of our multifunctionals or alternative preservatives. Cosvagard Pol is a mixture of two ingredients, a sodium levolinate as our multifunctional, so it's not a listed preservative and mainly efficient against bacteria and yeasts. And it's combined with potassium sorbate. Potassium sorbate is an organic acid as well, and mainly efficient against yeasts and molds. The recommended dosage of this plant is 1.5 to 2.0%, and it's mainly used in wet wipes and rinse-off products. It's also working in emulsions, but sometimes in emulsion, I would recommend to add one more antimicrobial substance to boost the system. It's completely soluble in water. You can use it in a pH range from 4 to 6. And it's very, very user-friendly. So just add it to the water phase or to the final formulation. This is up to you, and go on with your formulation. It is heat stable and overall a very stable and non-sensitive product. So don't care about it. Just go on with your formulation, and then you should be fine in the end. Here are 3 examples for challenge tests. So the first one is using 2.0% of Cosvagard Pol and additionally 3% of Cosvaderm propandiol natural in a day cream. It was an oil in water day cream, and the amount of water was really high. So around about 82 to 83% of water inside. And now we don't have here the direct numbers. We have here some figures of the results. What you need to keep in mind is that we have the colony forming units in a logarithmic scale. So please keep in mind that we are starting with 1 million, and in the middle we already have 1,000. And yeah, what you can see is that the bacteria, so E. coli, Pseudomonas, and Staphylococcus, were completely reduced to 0 until day 2. And then the yeasts and molds were also reduced very fast on up to day 7. The second formulation is a shower gel, which is representing the typical surfactant-based formulation. pH value was 5.5. And we used 2% of Cosvagard Pol, and again, a very fast reduction of bacteria, yeasts, and molds. And also here, the molds were completely killed until day 14. And the last one is then one further formulation. It's a micellar water, which belongs also to the group of surfactant-based formulations. Final pH value is 5.5. Concentration of Pol is 2.0%. And also here we have a fast reduction of the bacteria, and also yeasts and molds are completely killed until day 14. Please let me show you one success story regarding Pol. This success story is coming from our distributor in Greece. So it's a Greece company, and this one here is a shampoo which are using the Cosvagard Pol for preservation. It's very often used in surfactant-based formulations like wet wipes and shampoos, shower gels, because of course the price pressure is much higher in surfactant-based formulations compared to skincare products. So you cannot sell a shampoo for such a high price. So that's the reason why many manufacturers are looking for low-cost preservation in surfactant-based formulations. So let's go on with our extract. I mentioned on one slide before, the Cosvaderm Magnolia Extract 98. 98 means that we have minimum 98% of actives inside. And we have a ratio, we have 2 actives, magnolol and honokiol inside, and a ratio of 1 to 1. So we have around about or we have minimum 49% magnolol, minimum 49% honokiol, and in total, minimum 98% of actives. The magnolia extract is a highly interesting extract. It's well known in the traditional Chinese medicine since more than 2000 years. It shows a strong efficiency against yeasts and molds, has very nice anti-inflammatory effects, is highly efficient against acne germs, so the bacteria that are causing the itching process of acne. It's anticariogen and shows a good antioxidative efficiency. It's working pH independently, and it is a relatively stable extract. What you should avoid is to heat it up for a very long time, high temperature, but in general, you can say that it is a relatively stable extract and relatively easy to use, but it is completely oil soluble. So I would always recommend to use it in combination with a diol or with an ester. One of our products that is containing the magnolia extract is a blend that does not contain any listed preservative. And this blend is called Conservantes Multimec. Conservantes Multimec recommended concentration is 1.2 to 1.4%. And it's soluble in oil or diols at a typical concentration, so 1.2 to 1.4%. The pH range where you can use it starts from 3.5 up to 7.0. So it covers nearly the most commonly used pH values, or the most commonly pH values in cosmetic formulations. How to add it to your formulation? Very easy. You can add it to the fat phase or in the end of your formulation. It doesn't matter. It is liquid, so also very user-friendly. What is a function? It's a complete natural plant, so it's for natural alternative preservation and consisting of pentyl natural, GMCY, and magnolia extract 98. What I mentioned before is what you can see here now. We have two substances inside that are acting, or which have, let's say, the same mode of action. So pentyl natural and GMCY. Both of them are attacking the membrane of bacteria, yeasts, and molds, and both of them are acting as a very good solvent for magnolia extract. The pentyl natural is water soluble, so this makes the water phase more attractive for magnolia. And GMCY is also a co-emulsifier, which means that it is always present in the interface between oil and water if you have an emulsion. And it is a good solvent for magnolia. So it pushes the magnolia extract very, very good and very efficient closer to the water phase. And in this case, you have a much higher efficiency. Let's take a look to some challenge tests results. Here, the first one, we have here a lip balm at pH 5.5 and a concentration of Multimec of 2%. Here in this challenge test result, you can see what I mentioned a couple of slides before. So in my opinion, the concentration of Multimec is a little bit too high here because bacteria, yeasts, and molds are completely reduced to 0 on day 2. And this is not needed. Finally, to have a good challenge test result and an A rating, my recommendation would be here to reduce a little bit the concentration of Multimec. Let's take a look to the body lotion. Here we have a similar result. The body lotion was done at pH 7.0 or had a pH value of 7.0. The concentration of Multimec was 1.5%. And again, here, everything was reduced very fast. So Multimec is an excellent substance for emulsions. I would not recommend to use Multimec in surfactant-based formulations. And the reason for this is quite easy because The magnolia extract is a supercritical carbon dioxide extract. And this means that it is completely oil soluble. If you are using it in the presence of surfactants, you have one big problem because it gets encapsulated in surfactant micelles, and therefore it cannot act as an alternative preservative. So in most cases, it makes no sense. And I always recommend to use in surfactant-based formulations another kind of preservative system. We have here two examples in our success story. The first one is using our magnolia glyceryl caprolate since a very, very long time. And this one is a big company, the biggest producer in the Scandinavic area. It's Midsona, originally from Sweden. They also have some, or they bought the company Urtekram, which is originally a company in Denmark. And since more than 7 or 8 years, they are using the magnolia extract for their toothpaste because of its strong efficiency against caries and periodontitis germs, and also to have an antimicrobial substance inside of their toothpaste. The second one is a company from the United States, and they are using it in a moisturizer. And here in this case, they are using Multimag, and Multimag in this case is the preservative system inside, and of course has some additional benefits, and mainly used also for its skin conditioning and antimicrobial efficiency. And the last product, I think it is the last one I'm talking today, is zinc lactate natural. Zinc lactate natural is the zinc salt of lactic acid. It is an antimicrobial. It shows good antioxidative efficiency. It is anti-inflammatory, shows a good anti-aging effect and anti-pigmentation effect. So here you can see the chemical structure. It's completely natural and it's vegan. As you might think, lactic acid, that it is animal derived, but it is completely produced by biofermentation, so it's completely vegan. And here you can see the chemical structure. So we have the zinc here in the middle and 2 lactic acids around. And it is a very nice multifunctional with a broad range of very positive functions. So which function is coming from the lactic acid? The moisturizing effect, a good antimicrobial efficiency, and also an exfoliation effect. And no, please go on. Yeah. And the product itself is really very, very nice to use it for oral care, because it's the zinc lactate is nearly odorless, has a very neutral taste, but a very strong bacteriostatic effect. So it can be, for example, used to prevent dental plaque or gingivitis. It also stops the tartar growth, and it can reduce bad breath, because bad breath is mainly coming from volatile sulfur compounds, the VSC, and they are produced by bacteria, and zinc lactate is very strong against these bacteria. Very often you can find zinc lactate in deodorant formulations because it's able to inhibit odor-producing germs like the Corynebacterium or Staphylococcus hominis. And it is also sometimes used as an aluminum replacement because it's able to reduce visible sweat, and it can reduce rashes and burning skin, which is also quite interesting in deodorants. For example, if you are shaving the skin and then using a deodorant, a very nice product like zinc lactate is not irritating. It is the opposite. It has an anti-irritation effect, and wound healing effect, and this makes it also additionally very interesting for deodorant products. Why is it used in skincare? Because the lactic acid or lactates are a part of the natural moisturizing factor of our skin, and lactic acid is also additionally an exfoliation agent. It is able to inhibit enzymes that are forming radicals. So this means that it's working as an anti-oxidation product, as an antioxidant for the skin. And it is able to reduce irritation and supports the healing process, which is mainly coming from the zinc inside. It has a very good efficiency against acne germs, again, similar to Magnolia, against the germs that are causing the itching process of acne. And it shows a very good antimicrobial efficiency at all. Let's take a look to some challenge tests results. So first, we have here an emulsion, oil in water emulsion, and a concentration of 0.5% zinc lactate inside plus 0.3% of GMCY inside. The combination is very effective and interesting because GMCY is attacking the membrane, whereas zinc lactate needs to pass the membrane of bacteria, yeasts, and molds. So in the end, you have a very nice boosting effect if you are combining these two substances. What you can see here is a very good reduction of the bacteria. The yeasts were a little bit slow on day 2, but it doesn't matter because only day 14 is of interest. And yes, on day 14, finally, it was reduced fast enough to have an A rating after European Pharmacopoeia. Second formulation is another combination, which is quite effective as well. So it's the same formulation. It's an oil in water emulsion. And again, 0.5% zinc lactate. In this case, we combined it with 0.1% of Cosmoderm CHA, an organic acid that is also working in a higher pH range. pH value was 5.5. And what you can see is, again, a very good challenge test result with an A rating. In surfactant-based formulations, sometimes it's strong enough, the zinc lactate is strong enough that only the zinc lactate is enough to have a good challenge test results. But again, I always recommend a combination of two substances. In this case here, it was a shower gel, 1% of Cosmoderm zinc lactate was used, and we had an A rating in the end. Here is again a surfactant-based formulation, a micellar water using 0.5% of Cosmoderm zinc lactate in combination with 1.5% of Pentual Natural, and again, a very good challenge test result and an A rating. One more product, the Decapo Natural. Decapo Natural is completely new in our portfolio. And the innovative part of Decapo Natural is mainly the natural caprylyl glycol inside. So it consists of octiol, the natural caprylyl glycol, natural propanediol, and natural glyceryl caprylate, so the GMCY. It is completely naturally derived from palm kernel oil, coconut oil, and the caprylyl glycol inside. Yes, it is completely natural, but so far our production capacity is not so high. So we are only offering the material in a plant, but not as a single substance. The complete plant is Cosmos certified and ready and easy to use because it is a liquid blend and you can just add it to your formulation and you are fine. It shows a broad effectiveness against bacteria, yeasts, and molds. So the recommended dosage is around about 0.7%. And it is one of the most cost-efficient solutions if you consider that it is completely natural and certified. So recommended dosage is 0.7%. It's working in a pH range from 3.5 to 7.0. And you can use it in nearly all kinds of cosmetic formulations. But what you need to keep in mind is that octiol and GMCY are only water dispersible, not directly water soluble. But this means you can use it in a complete water-based formulation, but this water-based formulation will get turbid. If this is no problem for you, it doesn't matter. But if it is a problem for you, then you should not use it in a complete water-based formulation. In many surfactant-based formulations, it's not a big topic because a slightly concentration of surfactants is enough to get a transparent solution. It's very user-friendly and easy to use. You just have to add it to the water or to the oil phase. It's up to you before the emulsification step. It's a relatively stable blend, so you don't have to care about 80 degrees for 20-30 minutes. Doesn't matter, very stable. But you are also free to add it in the end to your final formulation. We developed this product because we have very good experience with the synthetic solution, and the synthetic solution is part of our portfolio since more than 10 years. And it's an evergreen bestseller in our portfolio because of a very good price-performance ratio. The difference to the natural version is here we have the natural caprylyl glycol inside. Here we have the synthetic one. Here we have a synthetic propylene glycol as a solvent. Here we are using our natural propanediol as a solvent, and the GMCY is the same, and in both plants from a natural source. Here are some challenge test results, 2 of them at pH 6.5, 1 at pH 5.5. In micellar water, so surfactant-based formulations, by using 0.7% of Cosmoderm dicarbonatural, the result was good, but unfortunately not good enough. So the reduction of molds not fast enough to have an A rating in the end, but a very good B rating. It is a little bit, or the performance, the efficiency is a little bit better and higher in formulations that do not contain surfactants. So in the day cream here at 2 different pH values, 5.5 and 6.5, you can see that in both cases, we were able to get an A rating in the end. And again, you can see here a direct comparison in the same formulation and a direct comparison of the natural and synthetic version. We have here on the left side the natural version and on the right side the synthetic version. And yeah, I think it's quite easy to see that it is nearly the same result. So it shows the same efficiency. And finally, I would like to mention that we have a lot of frame formulations for customers on our website. The number of frame formulation is increasing every 2 or 3 weeks. So we have one very experienced formulator in our lab, which was working for a very famous company before. And yeah, what is our intention? We don't want to explain your job. We want to help you, and we want to show you and give you some ideas what you can do with our products, and to show you some basic frame formulations which you are completely free to use if you want. And yeah, if you are clicking on one of our products, you will directly see show me frame formulations with this ingredient, and then you got an overview of all the ingredients. You can also get the formulation sheet as a PDF, including a detailed description. And yeah, it's a really very, very nice database with some very interesting formulations. So feel completely free to use it if you want to use it.
Thank you very much, Carsten. I would like to add one more thing. You saw our success stories for all of the products, except for zinc lactate natural and decarbo natural. We
launched this product.
These products this year. So we are already working, of course, with many companies, but it takes a while until these two products are also in different formulations, finally available in the shelf in a supermarket. So, of course, there is so far no success story available, or not anything available which we would like to publish already. Thank you all for being part here, for taking your time and listening to us. And thank you, Carsten, for your support. Then I would give the ball to Eliane for the question and answering session.
E agora a gente vai abrir para as questões, né? Então, quem está aqui com a gente, ou no canal do YouTube, né? Que a gente já tem algumas questões, podem fazê-lo aqui, ou no chat, ou no Q&A, serão bem-vindas, ok? Eu vou começar pelas que a gente já recebeu. É possível se obter um respeito à microbiota cutânea e à efetividade de um sistema conservante?
Sure. I mean, it's always a challenge, but that is part of our job to find the best solution for a specific formulation. And each formulation is unique, and there is not the preservative existing on the market that is the best and working in all kinds of formulations and has no side effects. Otherwise, I would not sit here and do my job, because also we, after many years of experience, need to learn day by day that every formulation is different and sometimes a challenge. It depends on the ingredients and the substances, the source of the substances. But finally, yes, you can have a very safe formulation only with positive functions and a very good antimicrobial efficiency inside.
Ok, obrigada. Temos uma questão da Fabiane, perguntando qual a melhor indicação para produtos aquosos de conservante.
Yeah, if it is a completely water-based, of course, very often the organic acids are used. It depends a little bit on the final pH value, because many of the organic acids are working in a pH range up to pH 6.0. And if the pH value is very low, so lower than 5.0, the organic acids are very efficient, but some of them are showing a kind of precipitation because their water solubility is low at a low pH value. In general, substances like zinc lactate and also the diols are excellent for complete water-based formulations. And my recommendation is, of course, a combination of pentyl natural and the zinc lactate is very good working, or you can only use the diols, or as a third option, a combination of an organic acid plus a diol or plus zinc lactate.
Ok, obrigada. Uma questão do YouTube. É possível afirmar que que o zinc lactate e o multimeg são conservantes com ação multifuncional?
Yes, that is correct.
Vamos ver se tem mais aqui. Para emulsões com pH próximo a 6,5, qual é a melhor indicação de um conservante?
Again, the best one is hard to predict because first I need to check the formulation and to take a look to the other ingredients inside. But my first recommendation for a pH value of 6.5, typical emulsion, oil in water, would be, for example, the Decapo Natural or Multimec. Both of them would be working highly efficient at this pH value.
Obrigada. A última questão. Das opções dos dióis, a melhor combinação seria reunir o pentiol com o hexiol?
If you are only using diols, it depends a little bit. Yes, a combination of pentiol and hexiol is very effective. In this case, I would recommend around about 1.8% of both substances, so pentiol and hexiol, maybe 2%, depends a little bit on the formulation and how hard it is to preserve it. But you can also think about a combination of, for example, octiol and hexiol, because although this combination is very effective. What you need to keep in mind is that the longer the alkyl chain is, the higher is the oil solubility of the substance. And if you are, for example, using the octiol, caprylyl glycol, you have, of course, the strongest antimicrobial diol, but you need to consider if it is an emulsion, then you need to consider how polaric or non-polaric is my oil phase, because some oils are much more attractive for the octiol than other oils, and sometimes it's not very useful if the octiol dissolves in the oil phase and is not present in the water phase.
Obrigada, Dr. Carsten e Frederic. Nós vamos deixar aqui os nossos dados de contato, né, para que o pessoal tiver qualquer dúvida, para nos solicitar essa apresentação, amostras. E antes de encerrar, agradecer em nome, né, do Departamento de Ciências da Vida da Color Mix, agradecer a vocês dois, ao Frederic e ao Dr. Carsten, a presença de todos, dizer que nós estamos aqui, né, Color Mix aqui no Brasil, que vocês precisarem da Cosfatec, estamos à disposição. Como disse o Dr. Carsten, não queremos ensinar, né, ninguém a fazer formulação, mas se alguém precisar da nossa ajuda para alguma ideia, para alguma sugestão, estamos aqui. E com certeza a gente conta com o apoio de todos eles lá da Cosfatec. Aqui os nossos contatos e, né, agradecendo profundamente a todos nós, a todos vocês.
Thank you, Colomix, and thanks every participant for being here.
Yes.